All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, Arizona Foundation for Women. My name is Monica Lindstrom, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors for Arizona Foundation for Women. And this is a very exciting program we have today. We're all going to learn meditation. No, wait a minute. I mean, meditation. I get that all the time. When I was in private practice, I did mediation and everybody thought it was mediation law. I'm like, or meditation law. I'm like, no, it's mediation. I wish I could meditate much better. So we're going to learn about that today. But I want to thank you for joining us for our second session in our series of She Talks, Healing Through Humanities. And you will notice that I'm looking down because I have a lot of notes with information that I want to make sure that I give you, and I don't want to get it wrong. So that's what I'm reading, all this information for you. So it's our new series of She Talks called Healing Through Humanities. And today's event topic, like I mentioned, is meditation. If I say mediation, I mean meditation. We are grateful today for all of our speakers that have joined us, and we are grateful for you for joining us as well. Arizona Foundation for Women couldn't be what we are without the support and love and contributions of those of you who are watching and who've watched in the past and who are contributing to AFW. We also want to thank Arizona Humanities, who provided us with a grant to make this year's She Talks series possible. We could not have these events without that grant. That's very exciting. It's the first time we've had that. So we're very excited to present this series all around the humanities, healing through humanities, especially after COVID. We all need a little bit of healing. All right, so She Talks is a series of events that help raise awareness regarding issues that directly affect women in our community. And we specifically focus on safety, health, and economic empowerment of women. Now, you probably noticed the S for safety, the H for health, and the E for economic empowerment. That stands for SHE. Now, we normally have live events to help educate our community, but as you know, COVID stepped in and changed many live events to virtual, and we found that this is a very good platform because more people can join us, more people can go back and watch later or rewatch, and so we found that this really helps with our audience and with our members. Now, the mission of Arizona Foundation for Women is advancing the status of Arizona's women through research, advocacy, and philanthropy, and to ensure their safety, health, and economic empowerment. So we have this little tagline that we like to use, and it's perfect. We wrap to SHE, so research, advocacy, philanthropy for safety, health, and economic empowerment. Very easy. Whoever came up with that was just amazing. I think it was Yvonne, one of our directors, just fantastic. Also, I forgot to mention that even though we're virtual now, one of the last sessions in the She Talk series, we're going to try to be somewhere on location, and we look forward to that. Of course, we'll still do virtual, but we'll be able to invite people in as well. Now, at Arizona Foundation for Women, we hear from people on a daily basis, both women and men. How can we get involved? How can we support? And there are many ways. The first of all, just being here and watching this and learning from us is a way you can support us. Another way is that you can become a member of Arizona Foundation for Women. For as little as $10 a month, you connect your giving power with other like-minded individuals who are leading the fight so that every Arizonan woman can change what is possible for her, her community, and future generations. So a lot of places, they might give you a piece of paper or a pen for being a member. What we give you is the opportunity to come together with others and really make a difference in the lives of women here in Arizona. And it's very fulfilling, especially when you go to our website and you see what we're doing and the grants that we're giving out to organizations. So it's a wonderful feeling to be involved in that. So I highly encourage you to go ahead and go to azfw.org, right? azfw.org. Pretty sure that's it. It auto-populates for me. All right, so we also have numerous volunteer opportunities available if you have time, including serving on one of our committees or helping plan events. We always have a big event every year And we always need angels to help with that. And then we have several other events throughout the year. We also have a She Partners program. Now, this is really exciting because this is where we get to collaborate with corporations throughout our community. So it's not just on an individual basis, but you can get your employer, or if you are the owner of a company, you can get involved through our She Partners program. If your company has a women's affinity group, we would be interested in getting that information from you and talking to you and seeing how we can support each other, because that's always a great way to spread the word and get more people involved. Aha, there it is. For more information, just go to azfw.org. And we have all kinds of information on there. Highly recommend you go there. You'll learn a lot. Okay, I think I got through all the information I had to get through. So now I'm pleased to introduce one of our speakers here today. She is a humanities scholar that is helping and guiding AFW and putting the She Talks series together. We are so lucky to have her and so grateful. Her name is Anita Fonte. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
All right, so let me go ahead and sing Anita's praises for a couple minutes. She's a published writer and author, a retired educator and community development and public participation specialist. Now she is on LinkedIn, so you can jump over there and you can look at all of her information there and see if you can link up with her. She's currently the sole proprietor and retired principal for Community Renaissance with 40 plus years in community development, deliberative dialogue, and community-based issues education. Wow, that is a mouthful, but it sounds wonderful. The primary goal has been to develop collaborative partnerships with private and public organizations that incorporate principles of compassion, equity, and community benefits into their mission and practices. That sounds a lot like AFW, so you can see the synergy there and why we chose Anita. Significant recent products of work include collaboration from the Wellness Walking Path at Limberlost Family Park, and updated for 2017 Walkabout Talk About book. That sounds fun. Walkabout Talk About book. What a great title. Multiple copies of both editions have been donated to Southwest Fair Housing Council, who works with communities throughout Arizona and beyond. Now, she specializes in social justice, community outreach, facilitation for nonprofit organizational planning, public deliberative dialogue, framing local issues through community-based focus groups, project management, technical and creative writing, humanities scholar, teaching and training, rock star, superstar, loving individual. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I added those, but also beginning in October of 2019, the focus is continuing Do Happy Today, International Day of Happiness, Tucson. So that's pretty cool. That's neat. So you can also go to the Facebook page for Do Happy Today for updates on that. She went to the U of A. We won't hold that against her. With a PhD in public dialogue. So welcome, Anita. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I also like cats and dogs. So there we go.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Because, you know, you can't be an angel or a rock star or superstar unless you have pets and you like cats and dogs.
Right. Cats and dogs.
All right. So why don't you share with us a little bit, what has your path been so far? Why did it lead you into the humanities, and what brought you to AFW?
Real quickly, I enjoyed sitting on my grandmother's front porch on a farm in Illinois and listening to her tell stories. That's how I got here. That's how I got to everything, really. And I think that sort of sums up, you know, why I am in love with the humanities. My grandmother was what they called a normal school teacher. In the old days. And so they had a set of encyclopedias, which I got to read when I was there on the weekends. And she loved poetry, and she came from a farming community where they recited poetry and stories as part of their Sunday afternoons. And so whether I liked it or not, that was how I got introduced to that whole world of stories and conversations around the table, both family conversations and then later, you know, getting involved in public life. So, you know, that's how we find our way to the humanities. The humanities are important. Sometimes it sounds like it's this esoteric, you know, kind of world. You have to be an academic or a scholar. No. if you read stories to your children, if you've read stories, if you like poetry, music, if you like and appreciate your language and your culture, if you like to be a cook and cook in the foods of your culture, that is all part of the humanities. And it's really about celebrating languages and history, her stories, not just his stories, but her stories, and all different aspects of culture, so that our life really has a deeper meaning through understanding ourselves better and understanding others better as well.
I think when we're younger, we think we know everything, right? And we think that we have so much to say and so much to tell because we've learned it all, right? And then I think as you get older, you realize how much value there is in listening to other people's stories and their accounts of what they went through, what the human experience was. And that's a great lesson when you start realizing you can sit down and listen to your grandparents or maybe an aunt or an uncle and just listen to the stories and learn so much from it.
Right, right. And I think it connects like today's topic because you listen better when you're mindful, you know, when you're present and in that moment, not distracted by a lot of other noise and things like that. So there's a connection with this topic, with some of the other topics we're going to be exploring through the foundation.
Well, we are very lucky to have you guide us through the She Talks series. Now, you put together a resource guide that was sent out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be popping up during and then after the webinar, and it's going to be an ongoing resource guide. So what's there right now, we'll probably be adding to it a little bit here and there, which will incite people, I hope, to keep checking in and looking at it. And I also encourage people at home as they get the resource guide, look around your own home and look at those things that you would add and maybe share that with us in terms, it could be your grandmother's favorite recipe, you know, or it could be a song, or it could be a photograph of something that was in your family history that and her story that you would like to share. So we welcome that because that's how we, again, expand the whole concept of humanities.
I love the recipes. I love seeing favorite recipes. And I even have a book that was from my family's county where most of the people grew up that everybody contributed recipes to. And I just love that book. I don't think I've made anything from it, but just the fact that I have it there and I can look at it every once in a while, I think is so fun.
Yeah.
All right. So Anita, I believe you have something you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, just to sort of get us into the topic of today, and this is on the resource guide. It's the Piece of Wild Things poem by Wendell Berry, very short, and I'll try to do him justice and the poem justice. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Nita. We look forward to hearing more from you throughout this series. So thank you.
Sure.
And I want to go ahead and jump over to Angel. And Angel Serpina is a Chopra. Do you say Chopra or Chopra, Angel? Because I've heard it both ways.
Chopra. Chopra is how he pronounces it.
Chopra. Okay.
Chopra.
The Chopra Certified Primordial Sound Meditation Instructor. That is another mouthful right there. And a Chopra Certified, okay, you have to say this word for me.
Ayurvedic.
There you go. Thank you. Lifestyle teacher. Angel has been associated with Chopra Global since 2014 and leads local meditation and wellness seminars, as well as teaches at Chopra Health retreats. That is quite an honor. That's pretty amazing. So after 13 years of working as an international flight attendant, where she earned automatic entrance into the gates of heaven for all of the patients that she accumulated and showed being a flight attendant. She has answered her calling to become an advocate in the wellness and healing space. Angel's work is grounded in the modalities of meditation, prayer, yoga, and
meditation.
Thank you. She believes that change is possible in an instant when we seek to deeply understand ourselves, and that recognizing our body-mind connection is vital to our healing process. Again, probably all the stuff she learned after being a flight attendant. Angel serves on the board of the C4 Foundation, which provides science-based support and resources to active duty Navy SEALs and their families. I mean, can you imagine what they go through, and for you to help them, that you're your own little hero there? I mean, that's fantastic. Their core mission is to strengthen family relationships and enhance support networks for our most elite warriors, their immediate families, and the SEAL community as a whole. So she lives in Scottsdale with her beloved friend and husband of 29 years. And I love how you say friend and husband. That's pretty neat. And of course, their chocolate lab, Juniper.
Right? Oh, yes, right here at my feet.
Oh, and their 3 children, I love this, have successfully launched, graduated college, and now live in Phoenix and San Diego. So today she's going to take us through the history of meditation, the benefits, how to start your own practice. She'll be doing a meditation exercise, and she'll give us tips for the next few months. So as you learn from this and you start your practice, or you create a little environment or where you go to do this, feel free to take pictures and send it to us. And so that we can show it maybe on our Instagram, maybe on our Twitter, maybe even on our website. So people can see what you've done, because we all learn from each other, like Anita said. So Angel, take it away. Transport us to this wonderful world of being able to meditate.
Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. And I'm so happy to be here. As Monica said, I'm Angel Serpina, and it's truly an honor for me to be here today and share one of my favorite topics, which is meditation, and linking it back to what Anita said. Meditation for me has truly been a freedom. It has helped me have emotional freedom. It's made my relationships better. So I think that, you know, that connection to freedom is really important in meditation, to be free to make choices that are healthy, choices that serve us, and then also to become aware of, you know, when we're not living in our highest truth. And I'm going to share my screen here with you. Okay. Did that work?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great. So I'll tell you just a little bit about my background and how I got to meditation, and how I got to this place where I'm now teaching at the Chopra retreats, where they're actually twice a month now, and they're in Carefree, Arizona at the Savannah Resort. So I started meditating in my 20s, but I wasn't a very regular meditator. And then in 2012, that was my very first experience at a Chopra retreat in Carlsbad, California. And at that time, we had 3 children in high school. I was a very busy mom. And my husband offered for a Christmas gift, he said, "Hey, what do you think about going on a Chopra retreat for a week?" And I thought, well, that sounds amazing. First of all, it would be a vacation. And the Chopra Center is no longer in California, but at the time it was at a beautiful resort at La Costa Resort. And it was 5 days of meditation 3 times a day, yoga, wonderful vegetarian meals, lots of community, and having discussions with other like-minded people. So I had always wanted to go there, and that was the perfect opportunity for me to do it. So I went on a week-long retreat, and I learned how to meditate with a mantra. And that's really what primordial sound mantras are. It's a mantra that just helps you to take your mind from the busyness and the chatter to this stillness. So I went and I came home totally transformed. I felt so at peace. I felt like I had been on vacation for weeks. And of course, I was very excited to share this with my friend and husband. And, you know, my husband is very supportive. He has always been behind me on everything. You know, he'll say, whatever you want to do, go be, I'm here to support you, which is wonderful. However, when I came home, I wanted to share this with him. This was no longer something that I was just doing for myself to relax or get away. I had a tool that felt would really help us as a couple if we could share it. So I talked to him about it, and you know, his thought was, hey, that sounds just, it's not for me. So he didn't readily want to learn how to meditate or even participate in meditation. So one thing that I learned at the Chopra Center on that retreat, and I'm going to teach you these questions a little bit later on, they're called the 4 soul questions. And one of those questions is, what do I really, truly want at the deepest level? What is my deepest desire? And for months, when I would sit in meditation, and we begin our meditation with those 4 soul questions, my answer to that question was always the same. It was, I want to feel deeply connected to my husband. I want a spiritual connection to him, and I want to share this. So I just kept answering that question in the same way and dropping that seed of intention in silent space we create in meditation. And then what do you know, 6 months later, he came to me and said, hey, what do you think about us doing a Chopra retreat together? So I was thrilled. I was also a little astounded that I had been asking this every single morning for months, and now it was here. And if any of you are familiar with the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, he always used to say, you know, when something comes out of nowhere, if you actually break that word up, it's now here. So there it was. I was thrilled. We went on our weekend retreat. He learned how to meditate, and it was really life-changing for both of us on a personal level, but also as a couple. It was really enriching, and we learned how to communicate from a deeper place, you know, from this place of spirit rather than our reactive responses. So at the end of that weekend, he said, hey, what do you think about doing our family vacation this summer with all 3 of our high school children? And we'll start at the Chopra Center, do a retreat, and then follow it up with a vacation. So I'm thinking this is just getting better and better. I loved the idea. We presented it to our kids, and they all said, sure, we'll do it. And all of us would tell you that that was one of the most magical vacations we've shared as a family. Not only did we get to have this experience at the Chopra Center and meditate together, they learned how to meditate. So we were all doing that at the retreat. But then when we went on to our vacation, we all would meditate together in the morning, and then we would have great conversations about some of the things that we had learned at that retreat. So after that retreat, and I saw, you know, the transformations that were happening on a personal level and also within my key relationships, I realized I wanted to share this information. And so I went back to the Chopra Center, and I did the whole teacher training for teaching meditation. And then most recently, I've been certified to be the Ayurvedic lifestyle educator. So that's how I got here today. And the other neat synchronicity about this, and Chopra likes to call them synchrodestinies, because a lot of these things are meant to happen in our lives, but it's when they finally come together. So it was this synchronistic event where I was now certified to teach all these wonderful things. And we had just bought a place in San Diego because we wanted to be closer to our 2 kids there. So I thought, this is going to be great. I'll be able to teach at the Chopra Center a couple times a month. And then they sent out notice to the teachers that they were closing the center in California. So I was a little disappointed, but then following that, we learned that they were searching for a new location to host these retreats. And they were asking for suggestions. So we all, gave our suggestions. And of course, I suggested Arizona. And then they ended up picking Carefree, Arizona. And it's literally 10 minutes from my house. So now I have the opportunity and the great honor to be there twice a month and to lead people through a course on emotional freedom and meditation. And so that's my story. And I'm very excited to share with you what I know about meditation and how I know that it really helps. We'll go over some of the key points of the origins of meditation, benefits of meditation, not only on your mind, but on your body. And there's now a really full body of research material that you can find on the internet about the scientific benefits of meditation on the body and the mind. And the Ayurvedic physicians of way back 5,000 years ago, they actually knew all of these things that our modern science is now verifying, and have all of these peer-reviewed studies. And it's a wonderful resource if you ever just go and search, researched benefits of meditation. You'll get all kinds of information. And then we'll go into a short little meditation, just a nice little experiential for about 10 minutes. And hopefully not only will you leave with more information about meditation, I hope you'll also leave with the desire to start this practice, even if it's just in a very small way for 10 minutes a day. And then we will have a couple of journaling prompts I'd like to give you, and then hopefully we'll have time for a few questions and answers. Okay, I don't know why my slide is not, oh, there we go. Okay. So when Ellen asked me if I'd like to participate in the She Talks and talk about meditation, she also mentioned that this is part of your series, Healing Through Humanities. And I thought that was so interesting because it's a perspective that I had never even considered. So I said, I'm going to do a little research. So what I found on Britannica.com was this: humanities are the branches of knowledge that concern themselves with human beings and their culture or critical methods of inquiry derived from appreciation of human values and the unique ability of the human spirit to express itself. And I thought that was perfect because, really meditation at the deepest level is self-inquiry. And it's important inquiry because we're asking ourselves those vital questions like, truly does make me happy? What do I really want in my life? What are some of the things that I am ready to release? What are some of the habits or the thought patterns that are no longer serving me? So I really appreciate viewing meditation through the humanities. I hadn't thought about it before. So meditation is not a new thing, although it's more recently in modern times in the Western world, we're learning more and more about it, and it's becoming very mainstream. But as far as the research goes and the people that study all of our human history, they're pretty certain that it dates back as far as, you know, anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 years ago, probably long before the birth of modern civilization. And it did actually begin, the origins are in India, and it is closely, you know, related to some of the Buddhist tenets. But I always like to tell people, just because it originated in India and it had its early beginnings in Hinduism and other Eastern religions, you know, meditation today is not at all connected to religion unless you want it to be. So whatever your personal religion is or your spiritual way of thinking, meditation can really fit into all of those things. I know now there's even Christian meditation groups, there's Jewish meditation groups. So everybody is realizing, I think, that the benefits of meditation should not just be, you know, kept to one particular religious belief, because it's so much bigger than that, and it has benefits, you know, for everyone. So I encourage you to make, you know, if you choose to make this your practice, make it a personal one. So if you are participating in any particular religion or other spiritual practices, whatever your rhythm is, you can actually incorporate meditation into that. And the reason that I think meditation is so important is because when we meditate, it takes our mind from this turbulent space, and our bodies as well. We go from turbulence to this place of stillness. And in that place of stillness, all kinds of insights and new ways of thinking can emerge. And we can actually get in touch with our highest self, our spiritual self, our soul. And we can start to pause and make new conscious choices. And that's what I really noticed for myself, was this ability to pause before I answered a question, to pause before I entered into a communication. And for those of you who may be familiar with Viktor Frankl, he was an Austrian psychiatrist that spent 3 years in a death camp. And what that man endured was really, you know, it was horrific. And it was remarkable that he was able to rise above the inhumane treatment and keep his peace, and then go on to write books. So one of his quotes that I love so much is this one: between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So again, circling back to what Anita said in the last line of her poem, you know, freedom truly is when we can make choices that serve our highest good and also serve those around us. And that's really, for me, that this quote really sums up what meditation is. It allows you that space between the stimulus and your response. And we start to notice after we've been meditating a little bit that that response time starts to become longer and it starts to become more natural. So we're not as reactive. We kind of take things in and we respond from this higher place within ourselves. And that's where our growth and our freedom lies. And I would also offer that that's where healing begins. That's where our healing really is, because we need to take charge of that as well. So in addition to these wonderful benefits that you get in your personal life, in your relationships, there's benefits to your body as well. And these are all very well documented, peer-reviewed studies that show that a regular practice of meditation, and even a one-time practice. I mean, you could do meditation once, and if you charted your blood pressure, you would probably notice that your blood pressure would go down. It also decreases your respiration. It lowers all the stress hormones in your body, like cortisol, adrenaline. And in addition to all of that, you know, when we're in this fight or flight response, which is quite often for most of us, this practice of meditation actually reverses that fight or flight response. And by doing so, it boosts our immunity. It helps to reduce inflammation, it prevents disease. And the best part is, you know, you're doing all these great things that lower the negative and the dangerous things that are happening in your body when you're under stress, but you're also increasing anti-aging hormones. And I would also offer that you're just going to feel happier. You're going to feel at peace because you're taking charge of your responses and you're no longer being governed by your emotions. There's a lot of different types of meditation, and I would encourage you to explore a lot of different types of meditation. We're going to talk about mantra meditation. We're actually going to do a mantra meditation, and I'll explain how that works. A mantra is actually a Sanskrit word, and if you break it up, man means mind and tra means vehicle. So you can think of a mantra as a mind vehicle or a tool that takes us out of our busy mind and brings us into this stillness where we can access creativity and insight and intuition. So that's the one that I will teach you today as a mantra meditation. But there's also breath-focused meditation. Some people, for whatever reason, don't particularly care for the mantra meditation. And if that is you, no problem. You can, instead of repeating a mantra silently in your head, you can do a breath-focused meditation. And that is simply where every time a thought comes into your mind during meditation, and that will happen all the time. None of us can turn our thoughts off. So that's really important to know, that people always want to know if they're doing it right. And I can't stop thinking. And I always say, well, welcome to the human race, because that's what we do. We think about everything. So when those thoughts come into your mind, you just gently shift your attention back onto your breath. Another type of meditation that you can do is reflection or journaling meditation. And this is especially useful if you are in a very turbulent time, either in your personal life or maybe having medical issues or just something that has come up and it feels like a turbulent crisis. You can start journaling, which helps to just kind of brain dump, empty those thoughts out. And then you also can look back, you know, a month later, sometimes 2 months later, and see, you reflect on what you wrote during that turbulent time, and you can see how you grew. you can see how there was some little blessing maybe in whatever it was that transpired, because it led you to where you are now. And at the end of the class, I will give 2 journaling prompts if you'd like to explore that a little bit. And then the 4th type of meditation, and this is only 4 types that I'm discussing, but as I mentioned, there's so many types of meditation. So yoga, which I also practice and I absolutely love, because it is mindful movement, but it's also a way to really get in touch with that deep part of yourself. And through yoga or mindful movement, you're focusing on the movement. So it takes you out of your thoughts. Some people love to hike. Hiking can be a beautiful meditation, especially because not only are you hiking and you're grounding yourself to the earth, you're also absorbing all of this information from nature, which helps to bring you back to your true self and calm the nervous system. So in order to prepare for meditation, there's really not much to it other than, if possible, choose an environment that's going to be free from distractions. I have a special room in my home that I like to meditate, but it doesn't have to be anything more than a comfortable chair in the corner of your bedroom or wherever you decide you won't be interrupted. If you have other people living in your home, I always like to let people know that I'm going in to meditate, and that way I know for 30 minutes I'm not going to be interrupted. And my chocolate lab, Juniper, she actually meditates with us too. And we've been doing that with her since she was a puppy. And it is the sweetest thing. We say to her, Junie, it's meditation time. And she knows, and she comes and she lays down at our feet. And I also have a little door hanger that I got at one of the Chopra retreats that says, quiet, please, I'm meditating. So you can do that if you live with other people. If you're in an office, you can just close your door and, take 10 minutes out during your lunch break. You can meditate there. And I would say that, choosing an environment that's free from distractions is great, but it's not always possible. As Monica said, I was a flight attendant, an international flight attendant for many years. And so those were very long flights, usually between 8 and 10 hours. So on my crew rest, I used to meditate. Now I still travel a lot, even though I am not a flight attendant. And what I like to do is I put my earphones in, and you can either listen to really peaceful meditation music, or just having the headphones in, I think, is kind of a gentle message to people around you, that you're not up for a chat right at the moment. So I usually do that when I fly. At the beginning of a flight, I take 10 minutes and I just calm and center myself and I meditate. And then after 10 minutes, if I feel like taking my earphones out and maybe having a chat with my seat partner, I'll do that too. But it helps prepare you for a conversation, especially with a stranger, right? Because we don't always know we hardly ever know what's going on with other people if we don't know them. And so when I do a 10-minute meditation when I fly, I do that at the beginning. I feel like it prepares my heart. It opens my heart to what this person next to me might need. Do they need someone to listen to them? Do they have a story they want to tell? And again, circling back to humanities, we all love stories, and that's how we get to know one another. And so that's just one good way that I prepare myself to be in a conversation and to contribute to other people if I have the opportunity. And then when you start, you just want to settle yourself. You want to settle your body, and you want to calm your nervous system. And so a couple of slow, deep breaths just get you in that right space to where you can begin to meditate. You can also take a few slow, deep breaths anytime, even if you're in the middle of a meeting and maybe something comes up that's a little bit confrontational, or there's, you know, some kind of interaction that doesn't feel peaceful. Just a few slow, deep breaths can reset your nervous system. And it also gives it that signal like, hey, everything's okay. Because when we get into situations where we're under stress, that's what our body thinks. Our body can't it can't differentiate between whether we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or whether we're just having a confrontational conversation with a coworker. So those deep breaths give your body the signal, I'm okay. And it calms the nervous system down. So if you are going to begin a meditation practice at home, I always suggest setting your timer, and I just use my phone timer. I put it on chime, so it's very soft and gentle, and it doesn't bring you out of meditation with this blaring, you know, music or something. And there's so many great apps too. One of them that I really like that my friend Julie told me about is the Calm app. And there's a free version of it. And then there's also a version where you can subscribe to it. But they have meditation timers on there. They have chimes, they have Tibetan singing bowls, different things like that. So if you want to explore that, you can also do some guided meditations through that as well. So you set your alarm and then you settle in. And again, you take those few slow, deep breaths before you begin your meditation and start calming your nervous system down. So I think we are at the point where we're going to try a little 10-minute meditation. Monica, do we have 10 or should I make it 5 minutes?
Let me see here. It's 12:48. So yeah, I think you can do it maybe in between there. And then after we do that, you said there were some journaling prompts you wanted to mention.
Yes.
And then I can see, have you answer some questions and then we can go back to life.
All right, that sounds wonderful. And I like doing the journaling prompt after we meditate because, again, we're preparing our hearts for asking some deep soul questions. So that will get us in the proper state of mind. So for this mantra meditation, I'm going to use the Sanskrit mantra Sat Nam. That's S-A-T-N-A-M. And it's pronounced Sat Nam. And that mantra actually means my true self, my highest self. So when we use this in meditation, it's just a seed of intention that we're planning, but it also serves as that vehicle to take our mind away from all of the turbulence to this quiet state. So if you're comfortable doing so, I'd ask that you all close your eyes. And if you're sitting in a chair, just kind of settle in. You can also do this sitting on the floor if that's comfortable for you. And then just take a couple of deep, calming breaths. So let's take a deep breath in. And then slowly let that out. Let's take another deep breath in. And slowly let that out. And we're going to begin by asking ourselves the 4 soul questions. The first soul question is, who am I? Who am I? And just allow any thoughts, images, feelings, or sensations to arise without any judgment. Who am I? The second soul question is, what do I really truly want? What do I want? What is the deepest desire of my heart? Again, just allow any thoughts, images, feelings, or sensations to emerge. No judgment. The third soul question is, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? And finally, the fourth soul question is, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my unique gift that I can share with the world? How can I help? How can I serve others? What is my purpose? And now we're going to start silently repeating the mantra Sat Nam. And this is more like listening to it than actually saying it. So it's just you're thinking the mantra. And as any thoughts come into your mind, and they will, just gently redirect back to your mantra. Redirect every time a thought comes in, redirect back to Sat Nam. And just remember that the mantra is not forced, it's more like a gentle listening to it. And now begin repeating the mantra. I'm going to set my timer so you don't need to worry about watching the time. And we will take 10 minutes. And let's begin now. Remember that there is no right way to do this. So keep silently repeating the mantra, Sat Nam. And anytime a thought comes into your mind, gently release that thought and return to the mantra, Sat Nam. Now, keeping your eyes closed, gently release the mantra and just rest in awareness, rest in being. And if it feels right for you, you may want to drop an intention into this still space that we've created. Maybe it's time to release something that's no longer serving you. Or maybe it's something you'd like to manifest into your life. Whatever it is, just drop that into the stillness. And now when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Maybe stretch a little bit. And how did that feel? Was that comfortable? So now that we've created this beautiful silence and we've gotten in touch with the deepest part of ourselves and maybe even set a few intentions, I'd like to give you 2 journaling prompts. And if you want to just jot these down, and maybe the next time we meet, you can let me know how that went for you. You can always email me too. I love hearing about your experience with meditation and any challenges you might be having. So the first journal prompt is there anything more important than my well-being? Is there anything more important than my well-being? And I love to ask myself this question because I'm busy like everyone, and I say this with compassion for myself included. You know, taking care of other people and taking care of business and all these other things, how often do we really stop to say, I'm worth it. I'm worth 10 minutes a day to just get in touch with that deepest part of myself. So that's the first journal prompt. Is there anything more important than my well-being? And the second journal prompt is, if I commit to meditation, if I commit to this action for 10 minutes a day, what will I see in 6 months from now? What are some of the things that you hope to see in 6 months from now? So if I commit to this practice for 6 months from today, I will see or I will be. Those are a couple of different ways that you can approach that prompt. Maybe I will see better blood pressure, or maybe there's something else that you would like to see manifest into your life. So those are the 2 journal prompts, and I have my information here. I would love to hear from you. I would love to answer any questions. If we don't have time today, feel free to shoot me an email. And then if you're interested in getting the 4 soul questions, you can just screenshot or take a picture of the QR code, and I will email those to you. So Monica, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Angel. That was very enlightening. It was difficult for someone who hasn't gone through this before. It was pretty difficult to just sit there for a while and try not to let your mind wander and think about that grocery list and picking the kids up and doing all those errands. So yes. I think I need a lot of practice.
And that is a perfect point. That's why we call it a meditation practice, because it's not about perfection. It's about taking time out every day if possible, even if it's only 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. The beautiful thing about meditation is it has a cumulative effect. So it's not like one and done. It's a process, and you practice every day, and you'll start to notice as time goes on that you're less reactive, you're more patient with your children or your relationships. And that's another reason that journaling is great, because we start to see the things that are changing. Sometimes it's hard to realize that our life is actually changing until we look back and see maybe some of the thought patterns that we no longer have that were negative. So
just like when we watch our kids growing, right? They're in our face every day. So we don't notice the changes until we look at pictures from last year or 2 years ago, and you see the differences.
Yes, great.
Or with our 4-legged children, of course.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Angel. We really appreciate that. And I want to thank you to our sponsor, Arizona Humanities, and our scholar, Anita Fonte, who is walking us through this journey of She Talks through the humanities. Stay tuned for information on the next She Talks. It'll be just as fun, just as exciting, learn something new. And so we'll be emailing that information out to you. You can also find all of our information about Arizona Foundation for Women at azfw.org. You can learn about our She Partners program, become a member, sign up if you want to volunteer and engage with us. And remember, if you create this meditation space, go ahead and send us a picture so that we can use that. And we would definitely like to see what you're doing. We won't be able to get into too many or any more questions with Angel today, but as you can see, her information is there. So please feel free to reach out to her. Last thing, please take a moment. It'll only take a moment, I promise, to fill out our event survey, because that helps us figure out what we can give to you, right? What you want to see, how we can engage you, and how we can continue to help the women in Arizona. Remember, we wrap to She, and this is one of the ways that we do wrap to She. So we would love to have your input with that. So again, visit azfw.org. Thank you so much for your involvement today. You are a gift to AFW that allows Arizona Foundation for Women to help women in our own community. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, everyone.